Hey guys, and welcome back to the madness that is Total War Warhammer 3. We're here again with some Immortal Empires Early Access, and today we're going to have an awesome free-for-all. It is an incredible game, it's a load of fun, really excited to share it with you. I am here today up against the might of Lawmaster of Sotek, who is going to be the Bretonnians in the distance here. We have Darv plays as his favourite Empire, and HDS as the glorious Grand Cafe. Should be a good fun game all around, so let's delve into this for our formation and battle lines with a load of cheap and cheerful Corsairs and armoured Corsairs making up the majority of our front line, but a nice central pocket of Streltsy, so not really going with the traditional free-for-all approach of having big scary single entities just kind of bounding around the battlefield. We've actually got a relatively sensible force. We also have some winged lancers guarding the flanks, and in the central pocket, Warbear Riders, alongside Boris Urson, of course, by far my favourite Lord of Kislev. It's a bit of a shame he's become so abusive in land battles that it's kind of almost, you feel bad for taking him, but he's just so badass and cool. You gotta love him at the same time. Likewise, with a Frost Maiden of Tempest, interestingly enough, coming in with the Hawks of Mishka, as well as the glorious Hailstorm. Now, my main goal here was to attack the Empire on the left-hand side, but you can see the Empire doesn't really belong on the left-hand side. They've gone for a bit of a cheeky vanguard position, load of Pistoliers, which is one of Darv's kind of specialties here, and then hiding in a bastion of strength in the trees, we have Free Company Militia, Huntsman, Sterling's Revenge, you name it, they've got it. There's also a load of mounted yeomen in here who are going to be spawned in a bit of a rough spot. They're going to be getting dragged down early days. We then have Volkmar the Grim alongside some Black Lions and a Celestial Wizard. For the force of Bretonnia, apart from their troops already trapped and dead, it is just a bucket ton of cavalry as expected. We have the defenders of Fleur-de-Lis. We also have Quest Knights here in at the centre, mixed in with Grail Knights and Knights of the Realm. A Paladin, we have the Fey Enchantress, and somewhere is the Green Knight. Here he is. He is a monster, this free-for-all. It is insane. It is really his free-for-all, to be honest. We have him alongside some Pegasus Knights jumping at the Zintler's Reichsguard. And then in the distance, we have a Grand Cafe army. Much like mine, is quite a traditional force. So a load of spears, crossbowmen, archers, you name it, they've got it. Celestial Dragon Guard, Terracotta Sentinels, Miao Ying, as well as a few halberd units. Without further ado, let's get this battle underway. Pistoliers are going to be fended off from the Grand Cafe army as the fighting continues. Looks like Bretonnians do lose the big fight in the trees of their mounted yeomen, but elsewhere are going to be butchering the Zintler's Reichsguard, which is good to see. Pegasus Knights are really hacking down the Zintlers right now, and the Green Knight with the Dolorous Blade coming in, doing some pretty awesome work, and he's a bit of a powerhouse, as you may expect. He also now does frost attacks, which is pretty cool, something that I don't think he had before. I believe most Ethereal units do now come in with it. There's a big engagement down the left-hand side. Grail Knights and Knights of the Realm do try to surround Volkmar, but there's a load of peppering from the trees, with Free Company Militia plus a Comet Cassandora coming down. That's going to send the Bretonnian forces packing in the other direction. Volkmar is attempting to hold the line, but yeah, things are going really bad for Bretonnia so far. I'm slowly moving my army around, going a little bit swifter with our cavalry contingent, trying to get in on the action. This is a free-for-all after all, and we're looking to deal damage. I do have some glorious winged lancers charging uphill into Free Company Militia, who are putting on a bit of a show though and kind of holding us back. My main army is still going to be repositioning where possible, but the Warbears are led by Boris are looking to get down and dirty as quickly as possible, and we are beelining for Volkmar the Grim here. I think we've got a really good chance of dragging low the fell kind of false prophet of Sigmar. It's all about Urson the Bear God, if you didn't know, and the Warbears are going to get a nice round there on him. We even come in with a Shard Blade. That's only really to slow Volkmar down. I'm not expecting to do massive amounts of damage. The Black Lions are also being feasted upon by our mighty bears. Elsewhere, Winged Lancers doing an okay job trying to shut down the Free Company Militia. We come with a Hawks of Mishka as well in the... oh, no, it's not Hawks of Mishka. That is a Talons... Oh, that looks like the Grand Cafe player. I think I'd copy this in a second and do come in with a Hawks of Mishka trying to take our opponents out. Now, Bretonnia's on the back foot. They've lost 90% of their army, but they don't care because they've got the Green Knight, and the Green Knight is certainly a Chad to be reckoned with. A load of bombardments coming down by Volkmar the Grim. We are grinding him down relatively effectively here, but I got a problem, and that problem is these goddamn Free Company Militia poking me and shooting me. So we kind of have a hailstorm here doing some pretty solid damage. Empire being a little inefficient up against the Grand Cafe push, which is just pushing back the skirmish cavalry, and we'll be making a bit of a dart here for the encampment of Empire troops hidden in the trees. We do get a Hawks come down. It's going to do some relatively solid damage to the Free Company Militia, as well as just discourage them a little bit as the remainder of my army does wheel around. Now, Bretonnia still has a lot of cavalry. It is just swanning around the battlefield for now, mainly in the back. So we have a Paladin. We also have Knights of the Realm chasing off Pistoliers at the moment. I have some isolated armoured Corsairs left behind who are there to guard my rear. We do have Winged Lancers doing okay. They are now getting jumped, though, by Pegasus Knights and the Green Knights, so I need to fall back as swiftly as physically possible. Winged Lancers are being used to chase down a Free Company militia, and now we'll be moving in to hunt down the Huntsmen, who are still being discouraged there. Negative 16 leadership is no joke, particularly when the Winged Lancers come with a thunderous charge. Fighting in the trees or not, the Huntsmen have nowhere to run, and we are running them down relatively effectively here as the cavalry just reaps a bloody toll. That's where cavalry is quite effective in chasing down enemy routing troops. Banishment comes in by Volkmar the Grim just to rip apart some peasant longspearmen, trying to show his elitism, I suppose, as a elector count. Oh, he's not elector count, he's kind of like the head of the Archmage. I guess he's like a religious figure in general, but the Stalins Revenge are trying to whittle down Miao Ying, who is doing some decent work in backline harass. Free Company militia are attempting to poke her down, but she's been a little bit naughty. Talons does come down, one of the hardest spells to dodge in the game. Even if you spot it, I've had units like move instantly and still be caught by it. It's quite scary stuff. And a lot of my army is a little bit stagnant here. That's because we're doing quite a lot of micromanagement elsewhere. Boris Urson is going to be coming in. We come in with the Shard Blade to slow down the Green Knight. He's also been frostbitten by our Mighty Blade, and Boris is having his way with him, or at least I would think so. We do magical attacks. The Green Knight really should be getting slapped up here pretty hardcore, but he's actually quite durable despite this. Some big hits are coming in. Streltsy are moving up into position. Warbear Riders are trying to fend off the enemy cavalry in our rear. We get a downhill charge onto the Questing Knights, which is certainly going to bode well for me, and they're trying to lift up those heavy two-bladed axes, but it doesn't really matter when the bears are about. The bears are going to shed blood. Likewise, we have Streltsy shooting over top of our bears into the enemy. Quest Knights get roasted. Looks like a hailstorm is also going to be coming down here to try to rip apart the defenders. And it's... oh no, it's a Hawks and Miska. Very interesting play by myself there. I forgot I did that. Mainly here just to try to break up this formation. We do some big damage, but that discourage effect comes in and the defenders get slaughtered. Warbear Riders taking a 2-for-1. Big Comet Cassandora comes down, luckily for me, only on basic Kossars there. Paladin is going to retreat rather wisely. I don't really have the speed to catch him at the moment. The Enchantress is alive. Where is Boris? He is hounding the Green Knight through thick and thin, and we've done a lot of work on him so far, but he's now running to the safety almost of Grand Cafe. I don't really want to get involved. Archers shooting the Green Knight's one thing. Archers shooting Boris Urson is devastating for me. Up in the high ground, Volkmar the Grim is trying to hold it down. It looks like Pegasus Knights are being whittled apart by the bowfire of Grand Cafe. We're not focused on too much here. Did some really nice play, though, just shooting in at the moment. Big air effect spells coming down. Another comet does indeed hit my own troops. This unit was kind of forgotten about, realistically. I just sent them into the frame. I was like, hey, you boys do you, and the rest of the army will do it. It looks like in the middle we have a bit of a fight. The Lords, Volkmar the Grim, as well as Miao Ying's fighting. And there's going to be another air effect coming in. This is by myself here. Just a hailstorm to catch off the peasant longspearmen and try to whittle them down. Volkmar's going down, but he's going to be able to escape the healed up Terracotta and make it to safety once more. More action is going down here. We do get a nasty Dwellers Below go down on the Streltsy, who are able to dodge the worst of the damage, it seems. But still, it is a considerable loss there. Boris does pull back, and his main passion in life right now is to see the Fey Enchantress with her head on his axe. So that's his entire day's work right now, and his entire dream. Although I'm getting pinned in slightly here, it looks like we may have a nasty air effect coming down. And once again, it is the Talons, which is really nasty play by Miao Ying, who actually hasn't got that many kills so far, despite having some really good casts of that. It is actually going to allow as well the Fey Enchantress to retreat and get out of the danger zone. So perhaps an alliance has been forming behind my back. We annihilate the enemy cavalry, though we've still got a decent chunk of army. Miao Ying's taking a bucket ton of damage from the Streltsy, but yeah, it's a lot of crossbows. It is a lot of crossbows, and it looks like the Empire forces are scattering to the winds. Volkmar's doing a rousing speech, in the name of Sigmar, you'll live on in the halls of eternity if you but fight for your empire. And yeah, it's kind of working a little bit. Pistolers charge in, then they all die, which is kind of what happens, unfortunately, when you get these kind of fanatics leading a battle charge. And he's getting dragged down by Celestial Dragon Guard. Miao Ying's also going to slap him up a little bit. What is a god to a dragon? So it seems like Celestial Dragon Guard have moved forward a little bit. They're isolated, though. I'm going to come in with my Armored Corsairs. I'm going to move around the flanks with them and the Streltsy, and then it's just lining up the Dragon Guard. This is going to be beautiful. Look at the damage being poured on. They've been annihilated from all angles. It's so glorious, and the Dragon Guard are indeed forced back once more. Don't know where Boris is. What's he doing? It looks like in the distance, the Fey Enchantress is back, which is a little bit scary stuff. I think actually maybe she was able to fend off my warbears. I think I sent them after her, but a combination of her alongside her knights, they were able to succeed where the many have fallen and failed before. Streltsy are trying to focus down at the Jade Warriors. My biggest concern here is honestly rising up over top of this hill. There's so many crossbow units, they're really going to just rip my army to pieces. Wing Lancers are going to charge in a little bit heroically here. We are also shooting at Jade Warriors on the push. It looks like Mother Grim has indeed gone down, which is a sad day for all of the men of the Empire. Terracotta Sentinel and Miao Ying were the main causes of that. And there was a slow start for Grand Cafe. They've really picked it up quite a bit. And the crossbowmen are just consistently lacing me with shots. It is really scary stuff. And hidden down here in the trees, we have the Green Knight. And many of you probably don't know, the Green Knight does actually heal up when he's in forest. So I believe it's this ability right here, the Sacred Guardian. So when in a forest, he heals, which is actually something I didn't know, I don't think, about till this battle, and it was really scary for sure. He's been tanked by a lot of magic users today. Boris has been hunting him, but he's still going strong, and he's got a little bit more kick left in him just yet. It looks like the Corsairs are attempting to trade with my opponent, but their crossbowmen are honestly just simply too much. I'm out of ammunition, a lot of my armored troops, and we're just having to push into the death storm of crossbow bolts. I'm going to give it a good go, though. Boris is trying to get nice and aggressive. Celestial Dragon crossbowmen are certainly no joke here, though. And I'm really trying to get rid of these Jade Warriors and just get them away from the battlefield. Looks like that Discourage is going to go down, hoping that it would also catch some of the Jade Warriors. And Corsairs are going to get down and dirty with the enemy. And we are able to push onto the crossbowmen, at least for a brief moment, but then Peasant Longsword push forward, as well as Miao Ying, and everything starts to fall apart. You can hear the screeching of the Hawks, as well as the men they kill. The Jade Warriors not having the best of days so far. Terracotta Sentinel, rather epically though, is simply going to walk through the maelstrom of death and ice. Streltsy again slaughtered and picked apart. In the back you can see the warbears trying their best. They were hunting down troops all day long, but the Green Knight is going to come and sort them out. Boris is on arrival though, and despite the fact the Green Knight is a little bit more speedy there, his 84 speed compared to 82, you've definitely something said for one charging downhill, but also that charge animation really speeds him up. And look at that bear bound after the Green Knight. If I can just clip him, I can frost attack him and hopefully slow him down. There we go, down to 59 speed. Boris pops stand your ground, and once again we're going to be dueling at the Green Knight. It's an epic battle all day long between these two. We're trying our goddamn hardest to drag him down. The Green Knight is a slippery devil, and once again he's going to retreat back to the Woodland Realms, where he might be able to heal up once more. There is a comet come down. Rather comically though, we're able to pull my opponent's infantry into his own comet, killing a bucket ton of his own men. Glorious stuff. Our push did damage. We were able to force off a few units, but alas, our Corsairs were kind of dealt with. It looks like the Fey Enchantress rather sneakily has snuck around the back, and it's going to be peppering down at the enemy range. I'm falling back with my Streltsy, seeing if I can save them, because they could do some serious work on Miao Ying. I'm continuously trying to hound the Green Knight, but once again, I'm a little bit scared of getting towards all these halberds and crossbows, but I decide to fall back and give up the chase of the Beastie, as he jumps in with yet another regrowth, healing himself up. Fey Enchantress being alive is quite clutch, and we actually have a bit of a fight back from Bretonia. The defenders are on the way, and Paladin, lovely patient play by them, and it looks like we're going to get a nasty spell by myself come down on the Celestial Dragon crossbowman, trying to do some decent work. We were able to save one unit of Streltsy. We're then going to shoot into the rear of these high-value targets like Miao Ying and Terracotta Sentinels. Even if we're not the last man standing, we're definitely not out of this yet. We've killed a lot of enemies so far, and it's been a pretty fabulous time. Boris is back, baby, and that's enough to fend off Miao Ying and the Terracotta Sentinel, which you would expect it would be. Now, Bretonia's going kind of crazy in the late game here. Lord Marshal Sotek showing his teeth here, and the Paladin, the Green Knight, as well as the Fey doing some really nice work on the back line, but the Fey Enchantress does find herself a little bit isolated and alone. Miao Ying is going to try to 1v1 her. The Paladin does come bursting to her rescue alongside the Green Knight, and we will be seeing the dragon actually going back down into human form. Probably try and cause some more healing spells, I would assume, and get back to the Terracotta. Now, I've kind of teamed up with Bretonia here. I'm going to be pushing onto the crossbowmen as they're distracting their single entities. I know they ragtag kind of crew of homies in the back here who need to get moving a little further forward. You can see them doing that just now. And the Frostmane is shutting down the back line. Boris is continuing, though, to bound around. And though him and the Green Knight have had their differences in the past, I believe we actually team up a little bit here and go after Miao Ying. But only after I realise I can't catch the Green Knight and he's slipped swept away, but we can pretend in its alliance and hopefully a win over some good friends. We are about to see yet another regrowth go down on Miao Ying. She's received a bucket ton of healing. In fact, there's been so much healing in this battle in general. And now Boris is up against kind of a really tough fight with the Terracotta Sentinel here. We have a Paladin in the mix as well. I'm like, you know what? I don't need to fight this, so I'm just going to kind of peace out of here, let you guys fight, and I'll try and get on top of some more juicy free targets. Crossbowmen are nearly out of ammunition. I think that really shows the strength of HDS's play here. That he's been able to keep these bad boys alive for as long as possible. And yeah, the Pegasus Knights in combination with the Fey Enchantress are butchering Celestial Dragon Guard and the Jade Warriors relatively nicely here. Frost Maiden does have the Snowflake Pendant on her currently, increasing her power recharge rate. Just need one more good spell. Streltsy are slowly coming over the hill. What's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? No, it's a guy with a gun, which is basically the same thing, sadly. But the Paladin is now being backed by Miao Ying and the Terracotta Sentinel, and hopefully I'll be able to get my Streltsy into a relatively solid position. Looks like the Frost Maiden's doing a good job as well. Where is our boy Boris? What is Boris up to? Where are you at, buddy? Where are you at? Where's Boris? Oh, he went the long way around. Okay, looks like we took the long way home. We wrapped around the mountains to try to get into a better situation whilst ignoring the scary death blob. And now we can move over to hopefully once again duel the Green Knight. Streltsy are trying to steal the kill on the Fey Enchantress and drag her down. And we've done a decent amount of damage. She may be able to come back here, the Green Knight as well. Being nearby may encourage her to return to the battlefield. Boris is just going to focus down whatever he can right now. We're trying to put all our units onto one enemy at a time. Jade Warrior Crossbowmen are currently the ones feeling our wrath. Very close game. You can see Miao Ying's healed up a bucket ton right here. There's also going to be a lovely, just glacial of ice spikes emerge from the depths of the earth, kind of like a jutting rugged teeth there. Pop on the Jade Warrior Crossbowman. We're applying a bit of Frostbite there and should be enough to finish them off. Now, this is where I'm betrayed. So I believe a while ago, me and Lord Master were like, hey, Cathay's looking pretty strong. Let's jump and beat them up. And then he backstabs me. The Green Knight comes over. Boris is once again going to have to, you know, kind of wag his finger at him and force him away. But the Green Knight is simply too fast for us, so we can't get within that charge bonus region. And all of a sudden, my Streltsy are once again running to save their own skin. Frost Maiden's going to countercharge Jade Warrior Crossbow, and Boris is going to distract the single entity. He's getting down and dirty with Miao Ying, the Dirty Devil, doing some pretty good work. You can see the Jade Warrior Crossbowmen are terrified. I do not blame them. Have you met Boris? He is insane. And he's doing some pretty good work here to Miao Ying, though it is a relatively close fight. Streltsy just running left and right. Looks like they're actually moving into combat to chase off the Crossbowmen. And there are some more Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen, though, starting to beat back the Streltsy, which is really bad news for me. I want one or two good volleys left into these single entities. I don't think we're going to get them, sadly. And it looks like, yeah, they're trying to shoot, but they're just tired, they're knackered. And Boris is an absolute war beast. However, fighting single entities, it normally goes down to the numbers rather than the quality of the combatants. And it seems to be going that way here. Boris, easily, obviously, a little bit more swaggy than a Terracotta or a pesky wannabe dragon. But alas, 2v1, the odds are not in his favour currently. And a lovely bit of target priority coming in for the Grand Cafe player. Frost Maiden is going to be running it to save herself. Green Knight is on return back up to the high ground, and it seems like Streltsy, yeah, not having a good day so far. They're kind of getting jumped and gooned. Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen charging into them, doing some nice work. We are going for a 2v1 on Miao Ying, though. She's probably the most expensive target left available to us, and every little bit of money we can make off this is the way we're aiming to do this. Boris, though, gets a big slap there to the back of the dome, and I think he's probably all but spent. Our caster does decide to retreat, and Boris gets one last charge onto the Green Knight, but the man he had haunted for what feels like a generation at this point comes back and slays him, and all of a sudden, if we have a nice overarching view of the battlefield, this is a completely out of the range of possibility that the Green Knight can win this. If he can kill Miao Ying, who of course does magic damage, which is really scary, so does the Terracotta Sentinel, unfortunately, so he's going to be taking a lot of damage, but if he can kill Miao Ying and get her off the battlefield, the rest of the infantry's got a good chance of just terror out in here, and then it's a 1v1 RNG fight up against the Terracotta Sentinel. Now, I wanted to hold out for magic, but I'm afraid I'm out of Winds of Magic, I'm pretty sure, at this point, so I believe I just go for the Leroy Jenkins style of play with the Frost Maiden, and she just screams the battle cry of gamers across the universe, yeet, and just charges directly in towards her death, basically, and the enemy infantry. Tries to get one last little backstab into the Green Knight to drag down the ethereal beast, and yeah, he's having a good time. he's having a good time. The Frostmane less so, Miao Ying less so as well, as she is forced off. And it is now just going to be a grind as the Green Knight slowly tries to tank all the enemies. It's going to chase off Miao Ying, of course, and just finish her off for good. So that's 2 leaders he has slaughtered, Boris as well as Miao Ying. Don't think he was the one to kill Volkmar, but maybe I am wrong there. And it's just a big fight. All the infantry is breaking consistently. It comes down to the Terracotta Sentinel and the Green Knight. Green Knight only 900 HP, Terracotta 7,751. I think you guys can probably guess how this is most likely going to go. The Green Knight does fall, and that is going to be the game. Or is it? We have the return of 1 year of Streltsy. Can they single-handedly drag down the 10,000-year dynasty? No, they can't. They're just going to break before they come back. Apologize for hyping you up there for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Really awesome game. Fantastic play by all of these lads. It looks like we finished second in the end, which isn't too bad. And second by a minute margin. Look at that numbers. Of course, Cathay got the last man standing bonus. Without that, we would have actually won relatively comfortably. Actually, I suppose Bretonia probably would have won then if they had managed to succeed there. But very close game all round. A little unfortunate with the Empire. I mean, very fun, like that almost full Vanguard build with Black Lions and so on. Unfortunately, kind of got trapped between 3 armies, which is obviously going to happen in free-for-all, and they got gooned. But it was a very fun army all round, as was everyone's, I think. Fey Enchantress, obviously, 2k value. I hate her with my soul, but the factories with the Green Knight makes it so much better. And, you know, dropping the reglows on him is worth it. He gets 4.3k gold value and 131 kills, which is absolutely bonkers when you consider how much damage he took in the early stages of the battle. We got 2k on our Bears, 3.5k on Boris. Streltsy did good, but alas, it was not quite enough. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll go through some of the key units in a second, but before then, if you guys are enjoying all the Immortal Empires stuff we've been dropping, been going kind of ham with it. We've had 2 videos a day. Make sure to subscribe, because it's what we do. We drop a load of Total War Warhammer content here, and I'd love to have you guys along for the ride. Feel free to like the video as well if you enjoyed what you saw, and comment down below what was your favourite moment, who are you rooting for, and what would you like to see in the future. I'm nearly through all my replays that I kind of recorded in a batch early on. I'll be a bit more free to maybe do some matchups you guys haven't yet seen, and if you just let me know down below. Load of links as well, Twitch, Patreon, Discord, all that good stuff in the description. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do that via Patreon or via a YouTube member if you fancy throwing some bread this duck's way. So Boris is absolute Chad, 3.5k value, 2k on the Warbear Riders, 1.8 on the Frost Maiden. Pretty decent damage across the board for our troops. 1,000 on Armoured Corsairs is beautiful. Winged Lancers pretty much paid for themselves, and that's about it for us. Now, the Battalion build got absolutely spanked early on. Like, the Mounted Yeomen got shut down. The Defenders had a terrible day. The majority of the Knights were pretty poor. 1.5k on the Quest Knights being kind of an outstanding one. Even the Paladin didn't do great, but just this power couple, 1.9k, 4.3k value. It is, yeah, absurdly good. 294 kills, 131. I absolutely love it. I believe this was Lawmaster, just been an absolute chad with the Green Knight, which was amazing in hindsight. So infuriating trying to hunt down the Green Knight in the moment, of course. 1.7k, nearly 1.8 on Volkmar the Grim. Was there any other standouts here? 1.9, lots of comments coming in by the Celestial Wizard there. Unfortunately, Ursula's Revenge did okay, 800 value, but the Gambit did not pay off. Miao Ying was a nasty piece of work, 4.3k value. She did actually do better than Boris, surprisingly. I guess she has magic on her side. 4.1k for the Terracottas, 1.5k on the Celestial Dragon Guard, who I thought performed really well. In fact, in general, the Crossbowmen performed pretty good, so good traditional Cathay play. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, peace, peace, and as always, stay awesome.